Good evening and salutations, my Days of the Lives fans. Alright, let's talk about Leo and Sloane and just how stupid this whole blackmailing story is, right? Because what he's doing, here's the thing, what he's doing, one, is just dumb. I'm not necessarily saying don't take her for our money, but have an idea of what you want from her. Have an idea what you want from her because all he's doing is just buying extravagant, stupid things. You know, champagne and clothes and caviar and everything like that. It's just dumb. I understand that Dimitri said, go out there and use this to live your best life, but I'm like, bro, this cannot be your version of the best life because you're just Because this is something I would expect, like maybe a 17-year-old or 18-year-old to sit there and be going out there and doing. On top of that, listen, as much money as Sloan makes, she's not a millionaire. So the fact that her card is getting declined is not a good thing. If you want to sit there and keep this thing going, you have to sit there and budget that. It's making Leo look like an absolute idiot. And yeah, Leo's supposed to be silly and funny and quirky and stuff like that, but there's a fine line between that and just straight up dumb, right? And Sloan going over there is just saying, okay, well, you're going to be on a budget. It's like, wait. You have not come up with a way to sit there and stop him yet? What happened to Sloan badass Peterson? The woman that came into town and was being with people no strings attached, going after Paulina and Chanel. What happened to that version? Because that version would have tried to come up with something to stop Leo from blackmailing her with these stupid things. You know, I read an article saying she's supposed to be like the next Sammy, but I'm like, that is an insult to Sammy at this point. So yeah, she puts him on a budget because, okay, sure, and gets um she gets Leo to sit there and kind of cut down on his spending, and Leo's like, oh well, if you step out of line, I'm gonna sit there and tell you a secret, and I'm like, are you really at this point? Because if you tell the secret, yeah, it's gonna blow up your life, but then you're going to be right back to square one. Hell, actually, to tell you the truth, he was not there spending all that money before he got his job. So, in all reality, I think Sloan should have kind of picked up on the fact that, oh, no, you won't. Because if you do that, you don't have a job. So, what are you going to do? Yeah, my life would be blown to hell, but you'd be back out one year, sleeping on the streets like a bum. So, again, this whole blackmailing storyline is stupid. And, it's really interesting. Stephanie aside, when Everett comes in there to sit there and talk to Chad and Julie about the pill issue and, how you need to sit there and try to get the story out there and kind of shut down some of this stuff, they agree perfectly. The only issue is Stephanie. The only issue is Stephanie. So Stephanie is pretty much the problem. You guys have to remember when they were talking at one point and he was meant to talk about how much he admired Abby and everything like that. Like they seemed like they got along just fine. They got along just fine, minus Stephanie. It's one of those things where it's like, for men and women, when you sit there and you start putting the opposite sex, not so much on this pedestal or whatever, but it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, you stop letting that opposite sex get in between an otherwise civilized conversation. It's pretty amazing. EJ, I don't know what the hell to do with EJ at this point. I don't really understand the way they're writing this character, it's so stupid, right? Like he's so much on this high horse talking about, oh, I should sit there and put you in jail, and you know, you're hurting my wife's daughter, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, you need to sit there and take it down a couple of notches. Yes, that does suck, him putting this stuff out there, but even you guys have to remember, Stefan isn't doing this by choice. He's not sitting there raking in the dough, be like, oh, I'm just making some extra money or whatever. It's like he asked you for help to sit there and stop this. And this is what he sat there and said to him as far as, yo, how would you like it? Because at first you were like, oh, I should put you in jail. Okay, you do that. I'll sit there and tell the cops that you were in on it. But more important, and honestly, tell you the truth, if you stop to think about it, you knew about this stuff for a while. So you sitting there talking about how you're gonna put him in jail, and you knew, miss me with that. But then, Stefan's like, well, how do you think Nicole's going to feel knowing that you knew that this stuff was out there, that you could have helped me stop this, and you chose not to because of your own anger issues and pettiness and the fact that you couldn't sit there and just put that stuff aside to work with me? Stefan's like, yo, listen, at the end of the day, we have a common enemy. We can stop this. We can shut this whole thing down. I just need your help. And that's the part where it's like he's sitting there talking about he's having compassion for him, but EJ is so much in his feelings like some 16-year-old little schoolgirl. It's like I don't know how his character was written before, right? But the fact that he's so much more upset with Stefan than he is about, well, we know where it's coming from, and I know how to sit there and deal with it, but I'd rather just be upset with him just because. I mean, bro, are you that scared of Clyde? Has Clyde got you that shook? The great EJ Demera? Bro, in a way that Eric actually darted out that house to go sit there and check on Holly, yeah, I understand that Holly's important to him, and that was like a daughter to him and everything like that, but you rushed out that house so fast with your own damn child and your wife, like, oh, I gotta go and sit there and see how Holly's doing. Yeah, I'll check you later. Bye. Something about that scene just comes across as disrespectful. And I think it's just the way he flashed out the house so fast. It's not meant to say that he couldn't go and see her and talk to her or just have a conversation, but what does that always sit there and say? Oh, Nicole and her child is much more important than what's going on here. I mean, y'all cool and everything like that, but if they cool, I got to go. This is exactly what I do not like about EJ, about Eric and Nicole. And I know people, I love Eric and Nicole being together. This is why I always roll my eyes. Whenever I sit there, I mean, I'm not knocking people because you like who you like. This is exactly the reason why I don't like them. Nicole Smith is using EJ as a goddamn consolation prize, and Eric just rushing out the house so fast, like his family, his family is an afterthought at best. Um, Holly started season, but now she's fine. Here's my whole thing about Nicole. Nicole is a very complicated character, and for the most part, I do not like her. Yes, I do have a heart. I do feel bad the fact that she felt like she lost one child, and her other child is in a coma and stuff like that. On top of the fact that she had a miscarriage, and yes, that does suck. Okay, as much as I do not like her, that does suck. So I can't sit there and be like it's heartbreaking, right? It's heartbreaking. I get that. Regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of how I feel about her, but um, and Chad asks, Julie asked Chad to stay there with the kids, and he says yes. I don't know. My whole thing is when I first saw Chad, I felt like he was just a straight up dick. So it's actually nice to sit there and see him with people like Julie, to sit there and see him with people like Theo, where he actually does come across as a compassionate human being. Maybe it's just Gabby. Maybe Gabby just brings out the worst in people because I'm gonna be honest, whenever he was around Gabby, especially when I first watched it, he got all up in the face or whatever. I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but this guy's a dick. Like, I don't even like this chick. But and granted, it's still not okay the way he was reacting. But I feel like Gabby is the type of person that does bring out the worst in people. Not an excuse, just saying. I feel like that's about it. If I miss anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you could share this video, it really does help. I want to get the Days of Our Lives numbers up. You know, GH is always like my number one reviewed video. Hell, it was one point where Days was actually higher than GH. I want to get back there. Days is a good show. Days is a really good show. And yes, I need your help to sit there and kind of spread that around. You'll probably get a little more support towards Days. Days, Emmys didn't get a damn thing. Not one thing. Nothing. None of the actors even won anything from Days. And Days is an excellent show. Anyway, that's all I could really think of at the time. If I missed anything, come to the live. We'll sit there and talk about it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.